I'm going to talk to you about meritocracy today, and I'm going to visit upon you some real truths, some hard truths. And I'm going to be talking about meritocracy. Now, this is something that you've heard me talk about a lot. You've heard a lot of people talk about a lot. It probably seems like an abstract idea, and I don't want it to be. And I don't want you to think, I don't want to hear about meritocracy. That's just something people talk about. It's an ideology. No, it's not. This has specifically to do with you and making your life work better for you between now and the end of this year, and for your children and your grandchildren. I want to be your friend at the factory. I want to give you some specific things to make your life and your world better. And I know how to do this, if I do say so myself. So I'm not going to give you a bunch of ideas and theories and ideologies. I'm going to talk to you about some things that you can do that are going to change your walk through this world. This isn't abstract ideas. Abstract ideas are concepts or thoughts that are really not concrete or tangible. They're representing qualities like emotions or states of beings that exist in the mind, but they lack physical presence. Things like love, freedom, justice, honesty, bravery, morality. We all know what those things mean, but they're not really concrete. And when I'm talking about meritocracy, I mean it in a much more concrete, tangible sense. I'm talking about making a contribution when you go to your job or anywhere in your life. Talent, needed skills, hard work, measurable results. Those who make that kind of contribution are rewarded and should be rewarded. If you make big contributions, you should get bigger rewards. Let's have a reality check here. And let me say, I'm not imposing this reality. I just study cultural trends and patterns, and I see things coming. If you were standing in the middle of the road or you were walking down a road and I could see coming up behind you a big semi-trailer truck, and I could see the guy was asleep at the wheel and he was swerving off towards you, would you want me to tell you? Would you want me to say, hey, get out of the way, get out of the way. There's a truck coming up behind you. Of course you would. If it was coming at your children or your grandchildren and I saw it, you would want me to tell you. That's how strongly I feel about what we're talking about today. There are some things that are really changing right now. You may not want to hear it, but they are. DEI, dead. Entitlements, a lot of these things are going to be cut right now. Do you know there are over 200 entitlement programs right now? And they are going to be highly scrutinized, and deep cuts of non-essential programs are going to be made. They're going to be cut. Now, let me say, I don't think everything should be cut. I think the measure of any great society is a function of how well we as a society take care of our elderly people and of our children. Go to the two ends of the spectrum, the two ends of the continuum. How well we are, how moral of a society we are, is how well we take care of our old people and our young people. I certainly have a big microphone, and if we start doing things where we're not taking care of our young and our old, those that can't take care of themselves necessarily, the infirm, I'm going to be raising all kinds of hell. But some of these others are going to be scrutinized and they're going to be cut. Now, again, I'm not telling you I'm the one making those decisions. I'm just telling you I know what they are. I talk to the people making those decisions on a pretty regular basis, from the president on down. People say, all the billionaires in this country. Well, I'm certainly not one of those, but I know a lot of them, and they're not affecting my life or yours. It's easy to complain about them. I'll complain with you. We'll all get together sometime and just kick ass on these billionaires. But it doesn't make a lot of difference to you and me. The problem in this country is not income inequality. It's income equality. It has been. In the bottom 20% of the income strata of this country, in terms of those that earn the bottom 20%, compared to those in the middle 20%, when you add in all the entitlements and tax breaks and all that, how much they wind up with at the end of the day is pretty darn similar. And that's when I say the problem here is not inequality, but equality. Because those in the bottom 20%, like 95% of them don't work full time. And those in the middle 20%, like more than 80% of them work full time. But yet at the end of the year, when you compare how much actual buying power they had, it's pretty similar, because all those entitlement programs bring these guys up to where these guys are, even though 95% of them aren't working. That's a problem. That won't survive. Not in this day and time. The focus is going to be on those who contribute, those who are adding value. They're bringing talent and skills. And in the current situation, when we are seeing an emphasis on capitalism, competition, and focus on merit, instead of getting something because you're entitled to it because of the color of your skin or your ethnic background or who your parents are, that is legacy. Figuring out what you bring to the table, what you bring to the game, what your role and contribution is, seems like a really good place to put your focus. You noticed I talked about legacy, like who your parents are. That doesn't have anything to do with the color of your skin or your ethnicity, but there are an awful lot of people, for example, that get into college because of who their parents are. Like if they're a so-and-so the third or fourth, or their parents went to that college or something, they get in independent of their qualifications. That ain't going to float any more than getting in because you're a minority or whatever. That doesn't make any more sense. That's crazy. I don't want somebody operating on my brain because their parents gave a lot of money to the school. No, thank you. I'd rather have somebody that worked really hard and did well in brain class, anatomy and physiology. I mean, I want merit. I want somebody that earned it. Like right now, there's a lot of conversation about this DOGE program, the Department of Government Efficiency. There's a major focus to eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse in the government. Now, everybody's been talking about that for a long time, right? However many presidents you want to go back, every administration has talked about, let's quit wasting money. Let's get rid of waste. Let's get rid of fraud, programs that don't really do anything. Let's get rid of abuse. And everybody agreed. Everybody's agreed. This time, there's an administration that actually said, let's get intentional about it. And most of Americans agree. Now, we've got some extremists. We've got some people that are crying about it. And they're saying, oh, no, we don't want to do that. Well, wait a minute. I thought you did. We've all agreed with that for decades, administration after administration. But then when they actually start doing it and they realize, oh, wait a minute, you're cutting a program I like. Like my grandma used to say, when the preacher got too close to something she cared about, she said, oh, you quit preaching and gone to meddling now. You're meddling in my life now. You need to back off. That's what a lot of people are saying. I was all about cutting this waste, fraud, and abuse until you started cutting things from my state, my city, that mattered to me. Well, that's just the way it's going to be. It's going to be kind of painful for everybody at some level. By the way, they're going to make mistakes. They've already made mistakes. They've cut some programs that they shouldn't have cut. They've cut some of those, like I was saying before, where it affected the elderly or it affected the young people, maybe a meal program or something to feed the kids. And when they make a mistake, they need to admit it, and they need to immediately reinstitute that program. And I'm going to be watching. It ain't all up to me, but you can bet I'm going to be hollering when they do.